What's up YouTube? This is X, and in this video today I'm going to be showing you an absolute classic FPS. This is Delta Force 1 from 1998. One of my absolute favourites and the game that actually got me into FPS games back in the day. Now the video quality is not great, and the reason for that is I'm actually filming this via an iPhone 4, forming my monitor screen. I tried using Fraps and also Cam Studio to do this, but for some reason neither likes this particular game, largely because the resolution is so low with this game. It's 800 by 600 max, and Fraps doesn't seem to acknowledge it as a game and therefore won't film, and I'm having problems with Cam Studio with lots of flickering, etc. So I basically just gave up and decided I'd iPhone 4 this game. I'm not going to get into a habit of doing this though. But anyway, as you can see, I'm just flicking through the options here. Quite an epic gun selection in this game, and this is the first time I've played it in years. I paid for it on Steam the other day just so I could play it again. Awesome. I forgot about these guns, all the guns in this game. This was the first game to ever really introduce all these weapons. Delta Force was the first FPS game to really show gamers things like the M4 and the SAW and the Barrett 50 caliber. All of these guns that are now standard FPS military weapons. Delta Force was the first game to actually introduce them. There was nothing before this game. This was the game that got people familiar with modern military weaponry. So I'm just selecting a mission here. You get a little briefing that's quite nice. And here we go. Here's the game. First reaction I had when I first saw this was, yep, the graphics aren't particularly great, but they weren't back in 1998. Even at the time, people joked about the graphics in this game because they're voxel based, they're not polygon based. But the reason NovaLogic did that, who are the guys that made this game, is because they wanted wide open world terrains, and the only reason they created it via the Voxel engine was because that was the only way they could achieve their aim of this ridiculously expansive world where you can run for miles on end. In fact, you can just run forever because the map repeats itself. And that was the idea of Delta Force. Delta Force was the first large scale open world FPS game where you had this long range combat where you were shooting at people sometimes up to 400 or 500 meters away, and beyond that even up to a mile, 9,000 meters away. So I'm just moving around here. I'm getting used to the controls again. I've got the M4 there with a 4x scope and a grenade launcher. And again, this really was the first game to introduce weaponry of this nature, such as military spec weapons of scopes and with grenade launcher attachments, etc. Back in the 90s, FPS games weren't sophisticated enough to take into account all of this stuff that goes with weaponry attachments. Nowadays it's so easy to forget that we take it as a standard, whereas in the early days a gun was a gun, that was it. So here we go, my first bit of contact here. I'm using the binoculars there. 500 meters away, I'm taking a pot shot at this enemy. I've gone prone there. Single shot with the M4, bang, you're dead. Another one. Look at that precision marksmanship right there. Precision. So I'm moving forward. Here we go. Enemy reaction. The AI in this game really was good. The AI would react to you in a way that even the most modern FPS games today don't seem to. They flank you, they react to gunfire, they react to their bodies getting killed, they move towards you in big groups, they sometimes even retreat. There's things like that that really made this game special, and even now it's still highly playable. I just got fragged there. See, I'm underestimating the game there, I'm underestimating the AI. Wasn't in a particularly good position there, just on a hilltop without much cover. I should have used the land as cover and popped up and shot. Didn't do that. And I used to be a fiend at this game back in the day. This was the game that got me into FPS games, and this was the game that got me into online gaming as well. You notice their connection type, it says Nova Worlds, and that was where it was at with this game. You used to play on dedicated Nova World official servers, and you would play with up to 32 guys in Delta Force 1. It was more than that in 2, it was 50. And Nova World was awesome, it really was. And I used to dominate in this game with this particular weapon right here. This was the first game to ever introduce this gun, the Barrett 50 caliber sniper rifle. And look at this new camo there, because it's a jungle style terrain map as opposed to a desert. So here we go, this is some Barrett ownage. Bang. And again, this game really was deferred. Look at that for a death animation. Even today that's a good death animation. Brilliant. Nice little puffs of blood as well. Pink mist. Look at that precision. So even now I've still got it with this game. I still anticipate movement. I can detect how far I need to aim my scope ahead of an enemy target moving forward. You just don't forget these skills. I played this game so much. All through the late 90s I was playing this game, and well into the last decade. Well into it. 2003 then Joint Ops came out, which was the next Nova Logic game. Look at that. Boom. And the sound effects in this game are flawless. The weapon sounds, the sounds of the guys screaming in agony when you shoot them, and that's just brilliant. Even today it's good, it's up there. So I'm moving forward now. Whipped out my my various weapons, got frag. Just wanted to see what the explosion looked like there. Pretty cool still. Nice sound effect. There we go, law. Fuck that up. Fire another one. Fuck that up as well. Really, I'm just testing the guns here, but that's all good. Law, light anti-tank weapon. Again, this was the first game to introduce terminology, the accurate terminology. In every other game up to this point, a law was a bazooka, and that was all it was. But in this game, they wanted it to be realistic. They wanted to introduce the military aspect. So they did that by calling things what they were called: law, light anti-tank weapon, etc. So look at this, I'm just moving in here, getting some nice little Barrett kills. You could really pull off some crazy shit in this game. You could get jumping headshots, hip fire kills with a 50 caliber sniper rifle. Epic moves, epic moves. Still fun, but it still felt realistic in a really odd kind of way. And it's all because of the terrain. It's because you're in such an open world. Even a game like Flashpoint, which is obviously all about the open world aspect, never quite felt as open as Delta Force. And look at that, fucked up there. I think I killed them though with that nade, I threw it in. And you'll notice on the top left there, it's got my kill rate 14. That's how many enemies I've fragged there on that level. And again, I'm playing a co-op game here, obviously there's no one else joining me. I've used the M249 saw. But the point was, this was the first FPS game I can remember that had co-op. And you could play 8-player co-op in this game, on all of these levels. So ahead of its time, this game. It was unbelievable how ahead of the time this game was, when I really think about it, in fact. So look at this, a totally new level, totally new terrain, snow, Uzbekistan, running forward with the saw. And again, this really was the first game to ever introduce the saw as we know it today. In every FPS game ever made, I think since about 1999, we've had the saw of some description, some type of squad automatic weapon. Did you see the amount of enemies? That was incredible. They all bunched up together in a group. So I'm opening up on them. They're about 600-700 meters away. Calling in the laser. Target. Request denied. What a bitch. What a bitch. No fire support available, eh? Fuck you. So look at this, opening up, and again, look at those sound effects. Those sound effects of the bullets whizzing by me, incoming fire, and those cracks you get, the terrain, the dirt, the bullets hitting the ground there. And I'm moving forward here, and again, third person view, you can alternate, which is always a nice feature. And now this fall coming down the hill, trying to get to me. So the enemy's always craftily trying to flank you in this game. And yeah, I mean, there's certain things about this game that obviously are dated. I mean, it's little things like you shoot an enemy guy in the foot and they're instantly dead. Things like that. I mean, yeah, it's an old game at the end of the day. I mean, modern games are oh, look at that headshot, bang, I'm down, sniped. But yeah, I mean, modern games, yeah, they're more sophisticated than this, but that doesn't necessarily mean they're always better. I mean, sure, in this game you could shoot somebody, like I say, in the foot or the hands, and they die via some generic death animation. Hit detection, there was no such thing. I mean, it was just all about, if you get hit, you're dead, and that was it. But in a way, I liked that. In a way, I did like that. Online, particularly, I liked it, because a kill was a kill. You shoot somebody, they die. No nonsense. Unless it really was laggy. So I'm selecting, going back to my M4 there, selecting here a new level again. I think this was, if I remember right, this was my favourite level in the entire game. Just the way the level was designed, it was all centred around a sort of sandbag bunker emplacement you had to take, and it was all protected by multiple machine gun nests and sandbag entrenchments. Really cool level this, and I love this terrain. I mean, the more I look at the graphics in this game, the more I start to adjust to them and think actually these aren't bad. But then again, I have a fetish for this game, and that fetish has never gone away. I just wish Nova Logic would make a kind of half decent new Delta Force game. They keep kind of remaking the old formula, sort of releasing a slightly new graphics engine but not really improving on the game. And until they really kind of get their act together and seriously make a sort of Joint Ops 2 or something like that, I'm not going back. But again, look at that nade launcher, just fired that there. Completely unrealistic nade launcher in this game, to be honest. You could fire loads of shots, and well, I don't think in real life a lone operative would have 15 nades on them. I think it's more realistic in modern games where you get 2 or 3, but whatever. So I'm opening up here, taking out people from 250 meters away, the M4. And at the time this was so unique, the idea, just the concept of what I'm doing here. I mean, shooting at enemies 300 meters away through a scoped weapon. Come on, I mean, back in the day that was just, there was no other game that let you do that. And look at that, look how high that nade went. No invisible walls, no ceilings, fuck all that. That was true distance, that went up in the air and came back down again. Oh, taken out. But I have to emphasise that the distance these bullets go, these projectiles, you fire a shot in this game, whether it be a nade or whatever, it fucking goes the distance, and you see it dip. It's realistic in terms of the range. A bullet will go about 500 meters if it's fired from an M4, and it will dip. You can see it through your scope. You can see oh, look at that. I remember that. You fire a nade up in the air and you wait, you don't stand still, and it comes right back down again and hits you on the head. Again, not many games would not many games feature that sort of thing. I mean, even in the most modern FPS game, if you fire a nade right in the air, it just won't come back down like that, because it vanishes, because it hits a ceiling and leaves the game world or whatever. But look at this, I mean, birds in the sky, that's epic, really is, and you can take them out as well. I think I'm going to try, in fact. You can't quite see the HUD at the top there because of the way I've got the iPhone 4 centered on this screen, but you can select your rate of fire in this game as well, which again was a revelation at the time. I've got that bird, got that cactus, ultimate kill there. And I really did get the sense when I was playing this again the other day and recording this footage, I was thinking, damn, if Nova World still had servers for this game, I'd be probably playing it again, fucking hell. I really would be. Obviously, that's not really likely to happen though, because A, I don't think the servers are still up, and B, it was completely overrun by hackers and cheaters, players running trainers, etc., getting infinite kills and all this sort of thing, running around with speed hacks or whatever. But this was a great game, and any FPS players out there watching this video, mark my words, this was the game that started it all. This was the genesis for online FPS games as we know them today. Delta Force 1.